Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara. This channel is called The Life of a Sunflower. Thank you so much who have decided to subscribe, and hope people subscribe and like this video. So thank you so much for watching. Today, this video is gonna be about my crochet journey, and this is a very sentimental and a topic that is dear to my heart. So anybody that's watching, I hope you like this video. And also, I think when we all talk about how we learn things, everything's a process in our lives. So sharing my story of how I learned how to crochet is very meaningful to me, so I hope you find meaning into this as well. So to start off this video, I first want to say I started off learning how to knit first, and usually that doesn't make sense to people because usually, crocheting is known to be easier, but knitting, I learned how to knit first, and it was in 5th grade. I'll never forget it. One of the teachers, she wasn't my teacher, but I wanted her to be my teacher, but she was hosting knitting club, and I think they were passing out flyers. Yeah, they were passing out flyers. When they were talking about it, it was like, oh, you should join and stuff. They were like, Larry, you should join. I was like, I don't know. I saw the flyers. It was kind of like a feeling. I don't know. It might have been my intuition. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I think it could have been intuitive. I don't know. It just seemed interesting. My mom was like, you should do it. You should do it, Larry. And I was like, I don't know. But some told me just to get the flyer, and I end up going. So I will say, like, knitting club was very fun. And it was just like a way not everybody, but the people that decided to go to the club could escape and enjoy themselves. And like, we really had so much fun. We had little parties, like we would listen to music while we would learn how to knit, and we would have like ice cream, and like one day we had brownies. We were just having snacks. It was so fun. Like, so I really enjoyed that. To me, this kind of connects to like a feeling of, you feel like I don't know if I should do this or not, but like if it's like a feeling, like there's something to it, I feel like that's telling you should go for it, definitely. And I'm so glad I went for it. It was so much fun. But also my journey in knitting club, I was struggling a lot learning how to knit because it was very complicated at first. Because the first thing we learned was to roll a ball and stuff, and then after that we learned the basic knit stitch, right? So it was kind of hard for me to like put the making the rows and putting the chains on. And then when I was like knitting, I would slip some stitches. And one thing about knitting, if you miss a stitch, it can unravel your whole project. Like, it's not like crocheting. Like crocheting, if you mess up, you can just take that one loop and then put it back in the chain and then keep going. But with knitting, if you miss one, you have to like take all the loops off of like your stick and then try to put it back on there, or redo that row. Unravel that row and then put the loops back on the stick and then like go. Just learning that was very complicated. But by the end of the year, I was finally able to like get the hang of knitting. And the first thing we made was a scarf. That's always something they tell you to do as basics for knitting, even crocheting, anything. So I was able to make a scarf, and I finished by the end of that grade, like 5th grade, and I was so happy about that. Now I can go on to the topic of how I learned how to crochet. So I learned how to crochet in the summer of 2023, and 2023 I would say is one of my best years and my years where I learned my biggest lesson. So 2023 was the year I had my first breakup. Yes, that was really rough. And my mom was just in a very low state, and I was just very down and, in a very depressed state as well. I really wanted to improve my mental health, and I wanted to get to a space where I can get back to myself like, okay, Lara, like, you need to feel alive again. And of course I knew how to knit, but like I will say I always wanted to learn how to crochet. Cause I was like, I see people doing this thing with this hook, and I'm like, how do they do that? So I took up the mission, okay, to learn how to crochet. I was like, this is something I want to do, so positive things to do. I thought crochet was very, it's a hobby, so you want to learn new hobbies, especially when you've been in a depressed state. So I was like, I just want to learn something new. I want to learn new things. So I looked up a YouTube video, basics, learn how to crochet, just row, like just a straight row, I guess not like a scarf, but just, crochet. And the concept of like chaining, it's funny because I understood the concept before, because that's how I would make my straps when I was like knitting like clothes, because I love to like knit. I love fashion, so like the first clothing I made was like this summer top, and it was knitted. But like I made like these loops, which I guess were chains in crochet, but I didn't know that yet with like with my finger. So I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't crocheting. So I did that, and then but it was confusing when we learned how to do just the basic stitch going across the chains. And that was very confusing to me. So I think at some point I learned how to pick up but I didn't learn it with the hook. Like the hook, it confused me because I'm like, how are they doing this? So what I did, I was okay, let me look at this, and like I think I looked up another video, and it was something on finger crochet. And I feel like with my finger, because it's your hand, you can visually see what you're doing. And then that helped me understand what I needed to do in order to actually crochet with the hook. So that's how I learned how to crochet. It's so weird, but that's just how my mind works. Like I was able to formulate how to like put the stitch through, and then like, crochet the chains, which is like, crochet stitches in the end. So that's how I learned how to crochet. Yeah, like what inspired me to crochet clearly it was the breakup, and that really motivated me to like step into my creativity and to get into a space. So when I learned how to crochet, I got into a space of creativity that I never could have imagined. It connected to a lot of other things, even though you wouldn't think so, but creativity can connect to, I think, spirituality, self-esteem, and overall self-love. And I've already been on my self-love journey, but I kind of fell out of it. And that's life. You fall in and out of stuff. You take a few steps forward and then you may backtrack. But even though I backtracked in my life or was in a low state, that space of creativity helped me thrive and flourish again. I think it helped me with my spirituality, my relationship with God, or just, spiritual practices as well. I think it helped me express myself through my designs and like patterns, inspiration, etc. It led me to things I didn't even know I could do. Like I knew like crochet was a fashion and stuff, but like I scrolled on Pinterest and stuff and figured out like, oh, I always knew I wanted to like make clothing with like crochet and like knit, and I had started doing that with knit, but like I didn't realize crochet, like you can even go beyond that. Like there's so many content creators and stuff and people on Pinterest that have created so many things, and it it really inspired me, and it still inspires me. And something that I always say, what we see or what inspires us from others, that's a reflection of us. That's a reflection of our potential. And the fact that we see like, oh, this is amazing, this is beautiful, somebody created this, somebody did this, that lets you know you have the potential to do that as well. You have the potential to thrive in that manner also. I feel like creativity can relate to self-esteem also. It can give you self-esteem as well. And when I say that, I feel like how I express myself through creating with crocheting and knitting or whatever, or fashion, it has helped me feel more confident. Like they say, like tap into things you love whenever you're feeling low or down, and that really builds my confidence. And like I said again, like what inspires us is a reflection of us all. So like I feel like inspiration connects us all because, like, you know, everything isn't everybody's cup of tea, you know, right? But like the people that love what I love, that connects us all, you know. Everybody's connected in some way because we like certain things, we're drawn to certain things, you know what I mean? And lastly, lastly, creativity is connected to self-love, also mainly self-love. And this is what this video is about, leading crocheting or just creativity in general, leading me back to self-love. When I was in a very low place, stepping into that creativity helped me to reconnect to myself. It brought me back to the potential that I am and the person that I aspire to be, you know. Even though we may feel like, oh, I can't do this, I don't know if I'm that good as I think, but no, really you are. We all have the potential to rise to that occasion or be who we aspire to be, and we can manifest that by trying. That's why I always tell people, as long as you're trying, as long as you do, as long as you put that energy out there, you can really do things you didn't think you can. You can do it. You can. And like that cliche statement, even though the cliche is very true, like they say, you can't. No, yes, you can. You can. Also, crocheting or just any type of creativity, I went through crochet, knit, fashion, it can show me all of me. When I say that, there's flaws in our work, but those flaws can be made beautiful, you know. Sometimes people like to perfect their flaws to get to what they view as perfect, but what I'm learning is the flaws in our pieces that we create, that is art. That is creative. That is a creation. And that is beautiful. I'm realizing the flaws in our pieces or whatever we make, that is beautiful. Also, I was in a place where I felt very lost. You know, I know who I am, but sometimes you can lose sight of who you are. Each year, I feel like I go through a phase where it's like, oh, who am I? I was a little bit different last year. I was a little bit different 2 years before, but who am I right now? And I'm realizing I'm a person that's constantly evolving and I'm constantly changing overall in my journey. Like, things are changing, things are evolving, so you evolve and change also. So the person you may have been last year might not be the person you are now. And that's what I'm learning about myself. As I'm changing and evolving, you can feel lost. You can feel like, oh, because I don't know who I am, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know what I can do, what's next for me. But you know what? When we feel lost, that safe space we create, that world we go out to escape, our little bubble that we create for ourselves, that can be our outlet to create, be who we want, be our true selves, and evolve into that being we aspire to be. And what truly makes us us, and doing what truly is meant for us, that can lead to our happy. I will say that creating, such as crocheting and knitting, even styling those things or using those pieces in fashion, that's what makes me happy. And incorporating and telling people that they're good enough, they are better than they think they are powerful, they are strong, a light and a beacon in this world, that's who I aspire to be. That's what I want to do and continue doing, helping others and bringing all of us, even myself, into my true potential, into that self-love and knowing that what we do, what we create is meaningful and who we are is meaningful. In conclusion, creativity is everywhere in everything. Like Lauryn Hill says, everything is everything. So we can create without even knowing it. Clearly, like, people have kids, we all are born to like reproduce. Like, it's just something you just naturally do. So we all know how to naturally do something, like we learn how to eat, like we learn how to dance or sing. Some people might have those gifts. If not, we learn how to talk. That's a type of creating. Also, creativity and creating can help us have self-compassion for ourselves. When you go to that safe space, you can be vulnerable, you can be yourself, you can say, hey, I understand you, I see you, I'm here for you, And lastly, it brings us back to self-love. And when we come back to ourselves, when we come back to self, we can feel. And when we feel, no matter how lost we feel, being in that space and just trying and saying, hey, I'm going to try to put this out there, just like I'm going to try to put this YouTube video out there, that can show that, hey, I did it. And because you did that, that's in the air. And because that's in the air, that's going to inspire somebody. Even if it's just one or two people, it's inspiring somebody. And that matters. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I'm gonna try to be more consistent, y'all, but I'm crocheting some more things. Eventually I'll make videos on that, but I want to start off one of my first few videos on my channel talking about my crochet journey. And I hope you got some insight on this journey I'm in. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.